welcome back to Making Events Awesome live stream. I'm your host, Warwick Merry. Hey, this is me. It's 2013. No, 2023. I'm 10 years behind myself. Oh, my lorks and lordy. So fabulous to be back. This is the first live stream, and usually it happens on a Thursday, but today is a Friday. Unless you're in America, then it's still Thursday. Who knows what's going on? There's big demand for hybrid. Hybrid can be very, very messy. And I've just spent this morning talking with a crew on how to do better hybrid presentations. So I wanted to give you the high-level tip, the one thing that you need to know to make hybrid work. So here we are. That's what we're doing. So welcome back. Hope you're having a fun time and enjoying the start of 2023, and that your events are going to be awesome for the year, even if you're doing non-hybrid events. So let's talk hybrid. Now, the one thing that you really must get right is this, and it's very, very simple. Oh, by the way, if you're enjoying this, why not share it with some of your other event organizer friends? Love to have them come and join us. So the one thing that you've got to do is, of course, inclusion. Thanks, Serafina. Yes, 2013, it is that making things a whole lot younger. And, we've gained 10 years. So the secret is inclusion. It's all about how do we make it inclusive for everybody? Because what happens is, so often, and I get this feedback all the time, when you run a hybrid event, one audience feels left out. Typically it's online, because what happens, and I've seen even the pros do this, you brief them about, you've got two audiences, you've got to get it inclusive. They get in the room, they get the energy from the people, and they forget about the online audience. And typically the online audience is far greater than those in the room. And you can actually break down the online audiences to two separate categories, which is live online and then also the recorded audience online. You have to include all of these people. Inclusion is the way to go. And to do it, there's really just two separate things that you need to do. And that is have your actions and your words be inclusive. Let me give you an example. If you're welcoming everybody, make sure you, by name, welcome the different audiences. So, hey, thanks everyone who's in the room, who's come along today. So great to have you here. Also, thanks to those of us who are joining us online. Make sure you use the chat function, blah, blah, blah. And for those of you watching the recording, put a comment and we'll make sure that someone gets back to it later. So it is so important. Here's a great comment that's just come through from LinkedIn user. They've dropped hybrid because the internet's not reliable enough. Can I tell you, I have a lot of major clients who will no longer do hybrid purely because of this. It is too hard to get it out there. What they do instead is they record it and give you the online version by watching the recording. Typically, they were finding a lot of their audience were watching the recording versus being live online anyway. So LinkedIn user, that's a good call. Even in some of the hotels and some of the event centers, sometimes the connectivity to the different services is not strong enough. So it's a valid option to not offer hybrid. And I've got to be honest, it's a lot easier if you don't do it. So our language has to be inclusive. We have to talk about the audience in the room. We have to talk about the audience online, and we have to talk about the recorded audience. It doesn't have to be all the time. What you'll find, though, is as you're talking with your delegates and your audience, separate them out. Use that inclusive language. Like, hey, for those of you watching the recording, let me know how you go. Put a chat. I'll get back to you. For those of you watching online, give me a comment. For those of you in the room, give me a wave. Like, you can get them to interact, or you can at least acknowledge them. So using that language. The second action that you can do is look down the barrel of the camera. Yes, I know. It's hard because when you're in the room, you've got, hello, Super Steph. It's Steph Payne. There you go. Hello, LinkedIn user Steph. For some reason, it's not showing. I don't know why. It's all good. So what happens is you get excited about the people in the room and you forget to look down the barrel of the camera. I go on numbers. If I've got 3/4 of my audience online, I'm going to be looking at the camera 3/4 of the time. If I've got half and half, I'm going to do a sort of 50-50 kind of thing. It's weird. It is weird. Here's a little tip. If you have a camera operator, tell them beforehand, if I'm looking towards you and your camera's live, can you raise your hand? Because it's an additional signal so you know to look down the barrel. It's an important thing to do. So I'd strongly encourage you that you do those two things to be more inclusive. So inclusive is the name of the game. The two things you can do is use language that's including the different audiences and also actions. And typically looking down the barrel of the camera is going to do it. That will make a huge difference to how you are received. Too often as presenters, they think the session's all about them, and it's just not. It's all about the delegates. It always was. It always will be. It's all about your audience. So make sure you're doing what it takes so that they're engaged and included. That's it. Hey, if you want a few other tips and you want to be part of the fun, joy, and happiness, come and join us in our Making Events Awesome group. The details there, makingeventsawesome.com. Come and join in. We have a whole lot of different discussions about what's happening there. If you have any questions, reach out to me. I'm always happy to chat. All right, crew. I'll be back next Thursday. Yes, today's Friday. But I've learned that Thursday's the new Friday now. Something Tripod knew all along. Just Google Tripod Thursday song. You'll understand when you get there. So next Thursday, 9 a.m., wherever you're watching this now on your fabulous, friendly streaming service. Lovely to chat with you. All right. See you next time. The end of Stream Dance. I know you've missed it. Some people like to just hang out for the end of Stream Dance because streaming systems sometimes take a little bit of time.